It is a very special edition of ABC News Breakfast, Tasmanian Election Eve. Tasmanians head to the polls tomorrow. This is the second time they've been to the polls in less than 18 months. Just 16 months ago they went to the polls. They're back again tomorrow. This is their fourth election in 7 years as well. The Liberals are aiming to win their fifth election in a row, but can they do it? It's a very big question. James, what are the polls showing? Because this mix of parliament could be looking very interesting.
Yeah, there's an interesting headline in the local paper today which says "Back to the Future," and of course that's a reference to the fact that Tasmania could end up exactly where it started, with a very, very similar looking parliament. We won't have too long to find out what's happening. Of course, this election was triggered by a no confidence motion, which was mostly around the state of the budget, but of course there's been a few other contentious things in the media as well, and in the political debate, the procurement of some ferries, and who could forget the AFL stadium too. A lot of people around the state though are crying out for more money for essential services. One of those services is health. Let's take a look at what some of the Tasmanians we've been speaking to have been saying.
Well, I'm a healthcare worker, so health is certainly an issue. And I would have to say that the state of the budget is also an issue.
I'd like to see a breakdown of their potential roles or potential deliveries and how they're going to fund it.
Oh, health mostly, yeah. Yeah, it's been, we've been needing a lot of improvements to the health system, I would say.
I think it's always helpful if you see how they're going to help financially support families. Yeah, just especially because the younger families are struggling with the price increases, and yeah, that'd be good to see.
I think the stadium's a big one for me. I think that it's just pretty sort of, it just strikes me as a pretty bad deal more than anything else. Like, I love the idea of a stadium, I really love the idea of a team, but it just doesn't seem like the numbers add up.
Definitely stopping native logging. I think that's well overdue, and I feel like each election we go and protest for it and then nothing happens.
Thank you, James. Look, there's a lot going on, of course, here in Tasmania, a lot going on around the country, and a big story overseas, one that captured headlines right around the world, and this is the murders of Australian brothers Jake and Callum Robinson. The accused murderers are set to face court in the Mexican city of Ensenada, and our North America correspondent Carrington Clark is there.
The murder of the Australian brothers, Callum and Jake Robinson, in April of 2024, and their travelling companion, American Carter Road, shocked many. Up until now, the key hypothesis of the prosecution is that they were killed in a robbery that went wrong, that it escalated from an attempt to steal the tyres off the car that they were travelling in, and resulted in all three men being effectively executed. They were killed while on a surfing trip. They were camped in a remote part of Baja California, and the prosecutor says it was there that the alleged murderers found them, and that's when we saw this violent interaction. Up until now, the prosecutors have said there is no link between these murders and organised crime that they've been able to discover, but the ABC has obtained a filing from the court system here in Baja California, which shows that two of the accused, Jesus Gerardo, also known as El Quecas, and Irineo Francisco, were moved from the local prison to a maximum security facility called El Hongo, which is in the desert of Baja California. And the reason they were moved is because the prison authorities believed that they were working with one of the organised crime groups operating in the prison system, Los Paisas, and that they were affiliated with the notorious Sinaloa cartel, which has recently been declared as a terrorist organisation by the US President Donald Trump. Now, when we were here last year following this case, we spoke to the former director of the police here in Ensenada, and he told us that he believed that the characteristics of these killings suggested there was an organised crime link.
We are talking about a person who is a direct link to organised crime, to groups I've analysed. This needs to be followed up and may even warrant consideration for federal authorities to take over, not just local ones.
The reason we are able to bring this information to the public is, although this is an official court filing, the names had been blacked out within the document, but they hadn't been comprehensively redacted, and the ABC was able to access some of that data, which is why we are able to identify these two men as being affiliated with these criminal enterprises according to the prison authorities. Now, the two suspects who have been moved to the maximum security facility, along with their two co-accused, will be facing two hearings here in Ensenada in relation to these murders, and we are expecting to hear more information about what the prosecution case is against them and potentially what sentence they are seeking.
Carrington Clark reporting there. Time for some more news now. Let's go back to Steph, who's in the studio.
Thanks, Emma. The Prime Minister is returning home today, bringing an end to his 6-day visit to China. Anthony Albanese says he's confident he's advanced Australia's national interest, having raised thorny issues with the country's top leaders, walked along the Great Wall of China and even visited pandas. But the federal opposition is accusing him of failing to secure concrete assurances on Australia's security concerns. A woman has been charged with 2 counts of attempted murder following a fire in Melbourne's southeast earlier this year. The blaze at a Chadstone townhouse in mid-May left the 37-year-old woman and her 2 young children in a critical condition. She's expected to appear in court today. The Queensland Government is refusing to set a maximum limit for how long children can be held in watch houses. A review found children were spending an average of more than 6 days in Queensland watch houses, with youth advocates demanding urgent reforms to limit it to 24 hours. In a statement to the ABC, Queensland's Police Minister says the government's focus is on keeping children out of watch houses, not setting arbitrary timelines. Israel's Prime Minister has warned he's prepared to attack Syria again if government troops enter the southern city of Suweida. Syrian government forces have started withdrawing from the region as part of a renewed ceasefire deal after Israel struck targets in Damascus, which it says aimed to protect Syria's Druze minority. Hundreds have been killed in days of sectarian violence between the Druze and local Bedouin groups. US President Donald Trump has been diagnosed with a common vein condition in older adults after swelling in his ankles triggered concerns about his health. The White House press secretary has shared a letter from Trump's doctor which confirmed he has chronic venous insufficiency, a condition that affects blood flow in the legs.
Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin.
Pretty little baby. American singer and actress Connie Francis has died at the age of 87. Connie Francis was the first solo woman to have a #1 hit in the United States in 1960. She rarely left the charts from the late 1950s to the mid-1960s, and her music is still reaching younger generations. Her 1962 track, Pretty Little Baby, making a comeback and going viral on social media this year.